out onto Hawksall. Immortality Field buys a little bit of time, but it's actually going to be Jonex sniping Toby out from underneath it, and the blade comes back down, cuts through Marvel. Fitz tries to turn it. Going to be forced to take a breather. G-Hunt, for the moment, there was slept down.
Pour Bédocine, le feed s'est tombé, Bédocine se retrouve purple et la communication est parfaite du côté des joueurs.
내가 불사르부터 연타 스피파이어가 버티면서
Alrighty, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for our final match of the evening. A late starter here for us over in Korea, an early starter for most of you guys watching around the world. But it is time for the NYXL versus the London Spitfire.
It is going to be a good one. I mean, London's been looking better and better week to week. And especially in these last two matches they played, they're starting to, I feel like, really grow and start to come together in terms of team synergy. Talking about rosters, we're going to hit up the NYXL's roster first. Bit of a surprise start here in terms of the DPS lineup. Everything else is the same. Yeah. But you have Sebiobi and Nene starting, so kind of feels like Sebiobi, Tracer, Nene, Widow. Had a meta composition coming through, moving away from the Hawksall Mei. Because we're starting on Ilios, you don't really run as much Mei there. If it was Busan, for example, Nepal, you have a much higher chance. Even Lijiang, you have a much higher chance of seeing that Hawksall Mei. So I like this choice for the starting control map.
Yeah, I mean, it is also a map, though, where you can see a lot of Pharah, and we don't really have that potential, I think, with you know, Nene and Sebiobi as the starters. You would want Libero, you would want Hawksall in for that lineup if you're planning on running the Pharah. So it seems like NYXL likely going to be straying away from that, but we'll see how they compete. On the side of the London Spitfire, for their starting six, though, we'll go ahead and take a peek, and we can see that we do have Babel back in starting.
Yeah, Babel's in, Bernard's in, Hailey and Krillin, so they've run a few different variations of their lineup. This isn't like a standard one or like a B roster or anything like that. It's kind of a specific set of players that we're seeing, and it doesn't tell us too much about what they want to do just yet. But we do know Glister is very good at Tracer. He's also very good at Widow, very good at... I mean, he's a strong hit scan player, but he's also really strong at projectile. Like, he can play the Genji very well. He can play Pharah. But Babel's played mostly Widowmaker, mostly hit scan so far, and you know, I think that's what he's going to be playing here. So I imagine it's probably going to be another of those Tracer Widow things for when you go into Ruins on Ilios. Yeah. But I think we might see a little bit of Pharah getting pulled out here at some point. Don't think NYXL really have that opportunity with Sebiobi and Nene on the lineup. Neither of those players very far already. So that's one thing you do lose when you don't have Hawksall or Libero in the roster. Or even Who Are You, for that matter.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing more experimentation. Obviously, you know, these are regular season matches. We're not in the tournament yet for June, so we're seeing more shifts in the rosters, teams trying new things and trying to find that groove. You know, with Hawksall coming in, we haven't seen Who Are You yet, but the flips between Sebiobi and Nene for the NYXL since they've added Hawksall to that roster. London has kind of always been a little bit more fluid with their lineup, but that's kind of to be expected given that they have these younger players who are just now, a lot of them playing together for the first time in this season. So they're trying to find, you know, what that championship roster is in quotations, you know, what is going to be the Apex roster that you can put together, not even to make a historical reference.
Yeah, for a second I was like, wait, what?
Shanghai have figured that out. They know, it seems like right now they know what the best roster that they can field is. That is, you know, with Fleta, with Lip in that lineup, Void as the off-tank alongside Fearless. Other teams, you know, across the entire Overwatch League are still trying to piece things together and figure out what the best ones are. So we'll see what NYXL lands on here for what their best roster is, because sometimes you find it, but you overlook it. Looking at you with that one, Dallas Fuel. But here we go, Ilios for the first. Our first. No, it's not. No, it's not. It wasn't soon enough, but we will have the Lighthouse to start us off.
Oh man, well, that certainly has been a. That Dallas Fuel today, wow, that was a thing we all witnessed, but
nothing more needs to be said.
Yeah, I was gonna say some things, and then I realized, nah, I think we're good. I think everyone said it. All there is to say at this point. Well, Glister on the Tracer, And I see Babel here on Symmetry is going to change, but to what? It's not yet clear. Okay, that's what you expect to see. Nene on the more well-rounded Ashe here, though.
On the high ground right now is Glister. Babel just taking a shot across the way, but shields will keep Hotba safe. We'll just, for now, seem like it's just going to be both teams kind of sitting across from each other. No one really committing onto the point yet.
Mono's the worst spy ever.
Yeah, a lovely little roll around the map here, and Jonak, oh no, uncharacteristic of him, puts his head out, and Babel just takes it clean off.
What an incredible shot from Babel, who also tracked Mono that entire time while Mono was trying to set up for a flank. Yeah, I mean, I think the superior composition goes to London Spitfire because they have Widow control now. It's hard for Nene to do anything. Look at his ult percentage. He barely did anything.
Okay.
And Babel is just a god.
Yeah,
right now. I mean, today and yesterday.
Yeah, these last 2 days really making his name known. It would seem so. Some clean shots coming through.
I think NYXL.
Jonak is always a good thing, and then getting rid of a Tracer as elusive as Sabiolbi is just kind of reaffirming that strength as a Widowmaker player.
I think Nene has to swap to Widow because, I mean, yeah, he doesn't have line of sight, but trying to cut it versus this really nice positioning of Babel plus Infrasight, especially at the moment, it's not working.
NYXL trying to get this flip desperately here as London Spitfire get ready to crest over 50%, but you can see Nene and Mono now going down. Headshots all around. Krillin as well has really been showing his prowess as a sniper Zenyatta in these last 2 days.
It feels like the London Spitfire players, some of the rookie players, like we had Krillin last year, is really young. Babel has come in, wasn't fielded a whole lot. It's very rare to see him, but he's kind of now a mainstay Widowmaker player for this roster. I mean, alongside Glister, mind you. And it feels like these players have kind of grown up and matured into the mechanics we know they've always had, are so visible to them.
Well, they do manage to get the flip. As J-Mac goes down, Nene finds a nice shot, but Glister gets on top of it. Managed to finish him off, but with Benar getting killed and staggered here effectively, this should slow up London's re-approach. You can see Babel trying to sit on top of the lighthouse here. Mono can't quite line up the shots to finish him off, and the heals are coming in across the way from the Orb of Harmony and highly lobbing in those right clicks, so we'll be able to stay safe for the moment. It's a question about can he get back into another position to try and find some solid kills. See, Mono barely surviving with the help of Anamo's Immortality Field.
I mean, the swap over onto the Widow was exactly what New York Excelsior needed. Then he's able to do a lot more here. And yeah, look at the control that NYXL has. He takes out Babel again here.
Benar stunned up there for the moment. Prince Edmon's still going to be held by Krillin. Yeah, Matrix is out to make their way over onto the point. Flux now going to be coming through. Jonak going to be the first one to fall. Amo getting chunked out. Immortality Field will save him for a little bit longer. The Flux comes in now from Hotba looking for a target. He's only really going to be able to find J-Mac, who has not been eliminated. Krillin finds yet another kill, getting rid of Mono. And London Spitfire back in control. NYXL couldn't even match their percentage.
No, and you know, Mono on this Wrecking Ball looks a little bit lost. I mean, he had a pretty shaky performance yesterday on the Wrecking Ball as well. This looks like this might just be the end of the round with all these stagger kills coming through. He's coming in alone right now looking for the swing through, but the timing, I was going to say it's a little bit off, but actually the late swing there catches highly.
For a little bit more here. Sabiolbi close in person with J-Mac, manages to take him out, but Mono going to be gone again. Benar holding on by a thread. Discord Orb comes through and Hotba manages to finish him off, so it seems like NYXL will get at least one final flip here on the point. Glister goes off into the sunset. So 56% starting upwards, still a long fight for them to try and maintain control. Sabiolbi starting to inch his way around the backside, nearly has that pulse bomb ready to go.
See if Mono can set up for another really nice grapple here, knock somebody off. I mean, he's again kind of set up on this angle down here, the right side. He's wrapping around now to the back. And it looks like they're going to try to maybe pincer on top of the London Spitfire. Babel knows where they are, though.
Well, they know where Mono is, certainly. He is back in the spawn room, waiting to come back into the game. Gets picked off again. You can see the Discord Orbs really doing work to allow for Blizzard to just melt through him. Babel on the flank tries to get that headshot onto Jonak. Would have been absolutely massive, but he cannot find it. The pulse bomb stick from Sabiolbi does get the kill. The flip still comes through for London Spitfire, so will be the OT forced out. And it does buy them a little bit more time. NYXL not accruing percentage during that, but now are back in control rather comfortably. And Spitfire suddenly in a rough spot. It comes through, Immortality filled this out. Can he finish off Anamo? Drops down, tries to get him to the Orb of Harmony healing, just a little bit too much. Glister has to exit the fight. Comes back through, looks for him yet again, drops back out the window. So we have this 1v1 Tracer v BAP. Glister will go ahead, give up on the fight, gets a little bit of healing coming through as the minefield will get dropped in, and JMac suffers from it. Gets picked off, and Jonak finds another kill, this time Highly going to be eliminated. Doesn't get an opportunity to use that Amp Matrix to try and swing the fight back into the Spitfire's favor. A really strong start, but NYXL, they dig the Talons in, and they managed to hold out 199% for the first round.
Namo's survivability there was out of control. The Immortality field to save him from the Pulse, then he gets the Orb of Harmony, drops down onto the health pack, then uses his Exo Boots to come back up while he uses his self-healing, and it's just living through everything there and wasting a lot of the damage output of Glister in a fight where I think Glister probably wanted to just put that into mono. Speaking of mono, he did get a few kills here and there, and he had that nice environmental kill onto Highly. But overall, it felt like the Wrecking Ball in that composition was just, its function was almost convention. It's like, well, this is what we do, this is how this composition works, we run Wrecking Ball, but the execution was quite poor overall, and I'm glad to see him swap over now to the Orisa, and we are just going to see that mirror.
I feel like they won the round in spite of mono.
Yeah, exactly. Like it was a little bit weak to be real with everybody.
Yeah. Either way, see Nene sitting here on the side. Scoped in, hunting for a target. Glister. Somebody told him that he was over here, but you can see already Nene has shifted over to the left side. Glister going to have to go on the chase yet again. Poison Trap will catch him, so he'll be exposed for the moment. Has to use that recall, which is not something that you want to burn just because of a Poison Trap. Gets in on top of Nene. Falls low, though, gets forced back. So solid play here by Nene. Solid Poison Trap placement. And YXL, they managed to find the first cap.
Yeah, Nene here just looking at sight lines, trying to catch Glister as he wraps around the side. Doesn't get the headshot there.
Cool. Now looking for Jonak. Instantly goes into the recall. Knows how that story ends when Jonak has a right click saved up. So does evade after that first hit comes through. Flip getting ready to come in now for the London Spitfire. They get the point to themselves for a little bit longer. Glister again going to be tracked by the Poison Trap as Nene jumps up onto the high ground, tries to hunt it, but can't quite get a headshot in over that ramp. Glister for now just going to be harassing the tanks, trying to build up for this pulse bomb as quickly as he can. Nene finally going to be taken down, this time at the hands of Krillin. Says, okay, you know what? I had enough of this Widowmaker. Gets rid of him. Goes for the pulse bomb, not going to be able to find too much, but Jonak now going to be taken down as that follow-up headshots come through. Tracer wreaking havoc. Spitfire ticking up as best as they can. Now it's 16% here, so NYXL not with too much of a lead.
Yeah, and unfortunate timing there on the Gravitic Flux for Hoppa at that moment. The fight was clearly lost as he lifted them up. Now, when he triggered the ultimate, when he started it, it was a much closer affair, but by the time he actually got to use it, it was just not going to be useful, wasn't going to get any value. That's a huge ultimate loss. They used the Amplification Matrix as well. They traded that one, and they're behind in Transcends. I mean, a lot of tools used for NYXL make it very difficult for them to actually come back in and get the split back early. They're probably going to have to eco push at least until Jonak gets his Transcends, hoping for that second one in the longer fight.
And nearly getting that shot through. Tries to get another one there onto Glister. As he just constantly harasses from above. Tries to scope in to get it. Falls low. Glister will be able to finish him off the melee hit. Go ahead and secure the kill. Flux now coming out from Bernard. Doesn't really catch that many members on the side of the NYXL. Jonak pops that Transcendence, but still can't save Anamo's life. Bernard now playing around the front, trying to get some protection coming through. Gets a perfect stun. Absolutely beautiful play from Bernard on the Sigma, which has been so clean from him.
That was
since
so
he's
well
come
played.
into the Overwatch League.
Yeah, he
shuts down Sabiolbi.
He's a great Sigma player. And it's hard to believe that he actually wasn't starting most of the time early on this season, despite his super storied history. The only player on this team that played like back in the beginning of Apex, back at the beginning of Korea. He's got the longest professional career of the guys on this squad. They're in pole position here to bring us to a third round right now. Control with the supercharger, and Babel's got the flank.
Okay, well, Mono walking out into the open. Babel was fully ready for that one. Can't quite get the hit onto Sabiolbi. Looks for a follow-up shot again. Misses. Tries to get that body hit on the Nene. Would have taken him down. Only had an Orb of Harmony rolling, but this time Babel gets the headshot on the pop-up with a grapple hook. Beautifully done. Pulse Bomb will go out into JMac, but he'll just stop moving and soak that one up. He doesn't mind. Knows that he's going to be just fine. Mono can't do anything, gets pile-driven into oblivion by Bernard, who re-arrives, and we will have that third round so well to decide the winner of the first map of the series.
Babble's Widowmaker is almost, it almost feels robotic. Like those two shots that he almost got the kills on that you pointed out were like 1 pixel off, both of them getting a headshot to end kills. It's insane how it's almost as if he's waiting for his opponents to walk into his crosshairs. You know what I mean? It's like he doesn't flick. It's as if he just puts his crosshair where the enemy's head's going to go. He's such a predictive Widowmaker player that it's so terrifying to play against someone like that, because no matter what you do, he's always ready for you. And when you have line of sight advantage like that, he kills Mono, almost gets 2 more kills, then eventually does get the kill, that second kill there, onto Nene, just by lining the crosshair up preemptively. I'm very impressed with this player right now, and I'm a little bit shocked that we hadn't heard too much about this rookie up until now, and he is really finding success.
Yep. And fantastic so far. Well, let's see if he can perform well enough to get them across the line here. Close out Ilios. Already repositioning, wraps around to that right side as we see Glister on the high ground. Krillin constantly shifting these orbs of Harmony, making sure those DPS are going to be topped up. Then with the Ash, trying to get a decent angle, gets a dink in onto J-Mac. To help the Discord Orb, takes him down below half HP, but no lethal damage coming through, so we'll just be feeding over a lot of ult charge here for Hylie, who nearly has that Amp Matrix ready to go. Glister going to be duking it out now with Sabiolbi. Falling low, orb comes through. Krillin has really been on point so far.
Yeah, Glister just looking for this backline pick. He's untouched right now. Unbelievable how much he's been able to do. He's still untouched. He's just walking his
way through. He's looking to get the kill here onto Jonak. Would be absolutely huge. Gets the stick, so we'll be able to take him down. But Jonak gives him the foot to the mouth first. Pretty even exchange there, but the rest of the fight is anything but even. 3 for 2 in favor of the London Spitfire. J-Mac falling low. If they killed him off, maybe there would be an opportunity for NYXL to continue the fight and try to get the flip. They're doing just that right now on the point, as it's not occupied by Spitfire. They move back over, they stop that from coming through, and Glister wins out over Sabiolbi.
They need to do a better job of shutting Glister down on the back line. He's just able to come around these corners, do half a health bar of damage, and then escape without even using Blink. It's insane. And when you get that much value without using Blink, when they do finally commit to you, you just run away, and they just lose even harder. Babble,
would have been a massive pickoff. So close to nailing these shots. Catches Anamo there in the legs. Amp Matrix will be coming through across the way. Looking for the shots. Babble sees that there's a shield there, so he can't get through. Trying to reroute. Bernard going to be taken down now. J-Mac going to be gone. And NYXL, they get the flip in the meantime. Trying to tie up the percentage that Spitfire have established. You can see that they're very much winning the fight now. So great reapproach for New York. And all they had to invest there was the Amp Matrix.
Yeah, really nicely done. Very ult efficient take back here for New York Excelsior. And they have this choke point control. You could hardly call it a choke, but that entryway leading up to the point control. They're going to have to step back, though. Hoppa wants to hold onto this flux until after they force out the amplification matrix. That's what Sabiolbi wants to do here. He doesn't have that pulse just yet, so London has a window of time.
Bob coming out right in front. Doesn't stand a chance. Does get melted down. Pulse bomb going to be lobbed in to get the halt together. Would have been so huge, but great. Immortality field comes out from Anamo, as you would anticipate. Does not lead to that big bang that we were maybe thinking would come through. Transcendence going to be used by Jonak, but not before Mono can be eliminated. 70% crawling upward now for NYXL, looking to close out the map. Spitfire pushing around, getting up into hot buzz space. He'll throw out that accretion, but he's falling lower and lower. Desperately needs some heals, 3 HP. Throws up the barrier, but it's not going to be enough. Actually kills himself off. Spear's doing that self-damage, not doing them many favors, and Anamo can't get out of range of Bernard. Spitfire retake the point. They're 50%.
And
Still
Bernard
definitely winnable here for NYXL.
Yeah, Bernard gets to keep this flux, and they have a Transcends, right? They have a lot of ults. York Excelsior is going to really struggle to win this next fight. I almost feel like they should try to eco-push this, play it safe, maybe commit the Supercharger to engage, but nothing else. Hold Sabiolbi's pulse, and they'll wait for the next fight. Maybe try to force a Transcends with the pulse bomb from Sabiolbi if you're going to commit that one in. Well, this is not the fight to win the round. It's the next fight. But if they wait too long, because now they're playing too fast, if they wait too long, they're going to find themselves in one-fight territory.
And the bugs coming out now from Bernard. Immortality Field already slapped down her. YXL. Matrix coming through as well. Konek on the hunt. Trying to spot Glister, but he makes it out of there. Flip starts coming through. YXL very close, just have to displace a few more members of London. Stick comes in. That's going to be a 2-for-1 special. Jonek and Nene both caught up in the explosion. The elimination is absolutely huge here from Glister, and likely have just won them this map. Hotbutt trying to stay alive. Pops the Flux flies up into the air. They can't get the accretion stun to knock him out of that one. You see Bernard falling low. A double slam comes in. 2 members going to be gone. Saviobi falls up for a third on the Krillin. Pavel manages to get rid of one, but Saviobi again doing some serious work coming up with the melee kills. NYXL do manage to get the point back in their favor one last time. Spitfire, they're going to have to swap to a Wrecking Ball. There it is from Bernard.
Yeah, they have to rush
in such dire straits to try to get this.
The Glister's going to have to blink back in as fast as he can. I mean, this is going to be super tight if they do get the touch, and they will just barely.
Yep. Even J-Mac having enough time to get there, but it was swiftly met with death. As forward orb, Saviobi finds the headshots, rips him to bits. Saviobi himself, flashbang, headshot by Babel. Now Krillin finding Mono. Really looking possibly winnable here for 11 Spitfire, who are desperately trying to get the split back in their favor to close out the round. Hiley for a way to route himself. He's the only healer alive right now for London. You can see Bernard here falling lower and lower. Then left Nene trying to finish him off. Can't quite get that health pack, and Amo is the one who scoops the kill. J-Mac comes back in with the Winston. Babel on the Soldier 76. J-Mac going to be taken down. Glister with a Discord Orb cannot survive. Saviobi is there, and they will finally be able to clean them off the point. Very well fought by the London Spitfire, but not well enough to close out the first map, so NYXL start the series off up 1-0.
This is the kind of close series we wanted to see from these two teams. I was really thinking that London was going to make this competitive, and they certainly did. They've made it extremely close. They look dominant even at times. I feel like if Babel could play 1% better than he is right now, like he might be the best Widowmaker player we've seen in Asia. I'm being a bit facetious, but he's so smart.
So good.
His positioning is so good. His ability to understand where players are going to peak, even without knowing where they are, where an enemy Widow is going to jump up, where the Tracer is going to be. Like, he misses these shot signs by 1 pixel, but you think, oh, he's so close. Like, imagine like how much more potential this player has. And if he starts hitting those more consistently, because right now he's hitting like 7 out of 10 of those. If he starts hitting 10 out of 10 of those, I don't even want to imagine what he's capable of. But New York does play the more solid game. Their experience really showing here, and they take the first map. But I think we could be in for another Game 5 here if things continue this way.
I put the feelers out there on Twitter to see if NYXL and Spitfire are game for another 5-map series. Don't know if I got a response yet. Haven't been able to look at it, obviously, but it very well could happen. We're going to find out, though, as we get ready to continue things. First, though, we have a quick little break, and when we come back, map number 2.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. Switch today and rank up to America's largest 5G network, T-Mobile. And by State Farm. For auto, home, or renters insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. The Overwatch League is brought to you by HyperX. Unleash your style, unleash your fury. With HyperX Fury Memory.
Alrighty, welcome back. One map in right now for our final series of the evening. I mean, if this is going to be as close as we've already seen here, just from map 1, Wolf, looks like we might be burning the midnight oil, because NYXL were barely able to scrape by in that victory on Ilios.
That's despite Glister getting a double kill with his pulse bomb, Sabielby coming back and clutching it. Sabielby had so many clutch moments across all 3 rounds where it looked like New York just has no chance. There's no way, and then Sabielby comes in and saves the day. Our next map that we are heading to is Rialto. It's been a little while since you and I have cast this map. I know it's been played a lot in other games and other regions, but for you and I, it's been quite some time. Yeah. We'll see what the meta ends up looking like here in Asia for this map right now. As
well, we haven't had any swaps.
Yeah, no subs.
Here. Yeah, so there's no substitutions on either team, so it seems like we might be getting a lot of the same. We have been seeing a lot of Widowmaker on Rialto in the North American region, so perhaps that is just going to carry on here with Nene still playing, with Babel still in for Spitfire.
I think so. I think, outside of the craziness that happens on A, on that bridge where you've got such a narrow line of sight and your opponent has double shields a lot of the time. In this case, probably going to be, yeah, it's going to be the double. I was going to say, probably going to be Mono considering the Wrecking Ball because he played it on Ilios as well there, but nope. Going to be the changeover. Hoppa's playing that. We're going to see the Orisa coming through. So they're still running a Wrecking Ball, but they're on attack, so a little bit more reasonable there. And London Spitfire, I think once the cart gets past this corner, they're going to have a lot more room to work with on the Widow. Like right now, Babel kind of has 2 choices. You can either watch this sight line or next to the bridge, or the main sight line just down towards the spawn. And besides that, you don't have a lot of options, but once you get out to the fountain, that courtyard area before A, there's a lot more opportunities for Babel to find those crazy headshots for Nene. It's going to be an uphill battle against these double shields. And Sabielby also is going to kind of struggle. The beginning of this push with this composition for New York is really just kind of hugging the cart and hoping for London to make some mistakes or forcing them to come out based on how quickly the cart is moving.
So far, to be contested on either side. They had the little split going on here with the Orisa Sigma. Cart starting to inch up though. J-Mac Angel getting collapsed upon. Immortality Field will buy him a bit of extra time. To finally finish that off though, and he just can't make it out from around that corner. Just a bit too risky. Mono starting to get pushed on those. Yep, Krillin goes in pretty aggressively. Manages to find a kill onto Animo, but does get finished off by Jonak. So a very scrappy fight to start off Rialto, but NYXL coming out quite far ahead.
Yeah, and the early pick there that they get allows them to, really allows Nene to get kind of empowered, get that follow-up kill, and they get this free push through A that you kind of rarely get in this meta unless you do win that tank war so hard and you do get that opening kill. So there's actually a really nice bonus in terms of time bank for New York Excelsior.
Good flank guarding here from Hotba. Nene finds the snipe on Babel off screen. So again, the defense is going to be broken down. Cart's getting ready to roll up here now into point B. J-Mac, kind of the lone protector. We do have Bernard off on the flank as well. The sun comes through, focus fire coming out. Immortality Field buying a little bit of extra time again, but now highly going to be gone just as he tosses out that Amp Matrix. Lister manages to find Mono, but there's a lot more than that if they want to hold off this card. Jonak's got the Transcendence rolling here. J-Mac still playing the corner though, so they do buy a little bit of extra time. Like so, how do they bounce back? How do they try to push this through? Seems like for now it's just going to be a wait.
Yeah, they have to regroup. Krillin has Trance, he didn't even have to use it. Bernard did a very risky Gravitic Flux when he was at like 15% health. He does survive.
Highly, barely lives there. Not quite the full charge from Nene on the shot, so he doesn't get the kill on the Baptiste.
I like this push around the left side here for New York Excelsior, trying to find a different line of sight, trying to get behind this J-Mac barrier, but now going back through the center.
Push up, Supercharger's out, Glister just takes that away with the Pulse Bomb. Now, looking to farm up for yet another one. Have the Synchro Sight rolling from both of the Widowmakers. Jonak on the flank, throws out that charged up right click, now is under fire, and Glister, the dash melee. The animation cancel, so clean from him.
So clean. And he knew too, Jonak had already used his charged up right click, so he knew he was pretty safe. Jonak had the left click, so he knew if he got shot once, he'd still be fine. So that was actually really well played from Glister there against, arguably still the best Zenyatta player in the world. Yeah, that's going to be a nasty accretion into a kill there on the Nene. And New York falling apart here a little bit, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, now down below a minute. It's a lot riskier for them as time goes on. Will not have that significant of a time bank, even if they can make it through into A. Only that 2.5 minute bump up is all they get. For now, though, still going to be halted 3.28 meters away from point A. Rollback starting to come through as well as NYXL tries to get regrouped. Jonak on that flank, way off on the left side around the canal. In onto Hotba. He's just desperately trying to bounce around these corners. Card gets closer. 0.75 meters. Immortality Field's going to be gone. Bernard killed in the middle of his ultimate. Babel does manage to find Nene, but can they do more? J-Mac down to half HP. Discord Orb comes through. They will be able to finish him off. And that should be the cart moving in, you would expect. Just have to finish getting these members away. But Glister manages to find two. Both supports going to be taken out. Babel gets rid of Sabiomi. Suddenly this is winnable. Krillin gets another one. They take down Mono. Anyone? Can they even tag the cart? I don't think they can.
I don't think so.
It's a hold.
Unlucky timing on that one. Glister, the god.
Unbelievable turn of events there.
I'm speechless. I shouted, although he's not in the roster today, but I was looking at that and I'm like, hello, whoa.
What a heartbreaker.
Yeah, I mean, that was all, but that was like, the ending had already been written, okay. Like, the filming was already done. All you had to do was release this in the theaters, but
look at this. God.
It's a double he grabs, so then he just cleans up Hoppa as Babel is at like 1 health and helps clean up Sabiobi. And Glister just does everything all on his lonesome. We're starting to see more and more moments like this with Brigitte out of the hero pool. But I mean, I know how everyone feels about that, but I mean, when there's no Brigitte, look at what Tracer's capable of. It reminds you of the old days a little bit, and I mean, we saw Sabiobi have great moments like that just previously on the map of Ilios, and Glister had his own double kill there at the very last second. That almost guaranteed them a win there. Might have been looking at a 2-0 here if they had won that one and came into this situation, because this is not a long distance to push here on Rialto. If they can get the similar type of opening pick that New York got on this bridge here, that might just be all it takes.
4, 3,
Yeah.
2, 1.
If NYXL can pull this off, though, get a fuller hold after being that close, I mean, at that point, I think that you're just boomed if you're Spitfire, and it probably results in a 3-0 sweep. But right now, they are in pole position to tie us up. Absolutely insane. Glister already getting up close and personal. But no real damage threat coming through from him yet.
All right, well, I mean, Glister is just waiting for that moment. I mean, this is a very patient style of Tracer play we're seeing a lot right now in this meta, because if you're zipping around all the time using your blinks, then you're just eventually going to die because there's so much healing on the other side. That's one thing that's definitely crept up in Overwatch since last time Tracer was super meta like this. It's just the amount of extra healing you can get with Batiste in the mix. So you need to wait for your perfect moment, or you're just going to get pushed away.
Glister finds Nene. Babel finds Anamo. That is going to be a lot of space opened up here. NYXL still in behind the card right now, trying to reroute. But you can see Spitfire is like 1 step ahead of them. Can rotate onto them just as quickly as they try to rotate out. Krillin comes up with 2, and this is going to be
they have no
much
ults.
free distance.
They have no ults,
Yeah,
and look at where...
If I'm Hotba, I think you just go to a Wrecking Ball, maybe.
Yeah, I think he should have. I don't know if he's going to get the chance to touch back on here. They might just barely...
It's got to be Sabiobi.
Oh, if he gets pushed away by a rock.
Sabiobi makes his way through. Cart starts moving forward. Mono barely makes it to the corner in time to start at 0.48 meters away.
Unreal respect
for London. For 2.5 minutes. Pulse Bomb going to be lobbed out. Doesn't manage to find anything. And Glister, I thought he was actually going to kill himself with that ultimate for a second there. He's looking for an avenue of approach to try to break down the defenses here of New York that have to be so sturdy right now if they want to pull this off. Stun goes through onto Hotba.
And Mortality Field out very early here. That's on cooldown now. It's a huge opportunity with Bernard.
NYXL, they're getting really saucy. They push up right up into their bases, but it's costing them dearly. They managed to break down the front line, and that is all that was necessary. London Spitfire will be able to take that in convincing fashion after such a glorious defense.
Yeah, I mean, Glister gets that opening kill onto the Widow, onto Nene.
Player of the game?
Yeah, there you go.
Just hand it to him.
Glister gets that kill onto Nene, and then Babel could just step out into the light and do whatever he wants because there's no one to threaten him. There's no one to kill him anymore. And, I mean, Glister had so many great moments, but Babel backed him up. You've got Bernard doing so much more work on the Sigma than you're seeing from Hoppa. Immortality field usage even better there at the last second for Spitfire. To be fair, New York had to really rush on the point, so it was hard to set up perfectly. But even when they did tag the point and London wasn't in perfect position, London just stepped away. They were like, okay, well, we still have 2 minutes. Let's wait for the perfect engage. Let's wait for the right fight here.
Yeah.
That is impressive stuff.
Yeah. Really well done by London Spitfire. So we do have a tied-up series here. No chance that any kinds of reverse sweeps coming through, but still looking like we very well could have a 5-map series on our hands. We're going to be right back, though, with the game break, so make sure you guys stay tuned. We'll see you in a few.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by ZipChair Gaming, the official chair supplier of the Overwatch League.
Alrighty, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are back now for our game break presented by Cheez-It Grooves. Got to point out, NYXL, sometimes you get caster curse, sometimes you boom yourself on social media, pointing out the stat of having a 90.9% win rate on escort maps moments before getting full held.
Yeah, I mean,
sometimes you get glistered.
Sometimes you get glistered. I mean, it looked like it was a done deal. They had A in the bag.
I thought it was.
I mean, Glister comes around the side. They still had the tank line there with Glister as well for delay, but it looked like it was just going to be Glister gets pushed away, the tanks get burned down, and then it's just over, right? Even though they were still alive. I mean, Glister makes a huge play.
Glister is the other 9.1%. But let's just get straight into it, Wolf, and talk about these first two maps with our crunch time presented by Cheez-It Grooves. Where would you like to go? Where do we even begin?
There's not a lot of things, or there's not like one. There are a lot of things. Rather, I said that the wrong way. There's not one specific thing I could hone in on and say, well, this is what's going on. It's very close. It's very back and forth. I feel like we're seeing some inconsistencies across New York. I feel like New York's experience is really shining through. You could see in a lot of these crazy overtime moments, they're making really good decisions. You know, sure, they got killed by pulse bombed and killed by Glister in that last moment, but that's not really about experience. That's just about Glister having a sick play.
Yeah.
But they are showing their experience, I feel like, in a lot of ways. But at the same time, say Bilby and Mono have both been pretty inconsistent, and I'd say that the same goes to Hotba as well. Not to say these players are like past their prime or they're really struggling or they're really like on the downward trend. I don't think that's true. But in this series, I feel like they haven't been as consistent as Babble's been on the other side for London Spitfire. They have not been as consistent as we're seeing from Glister in particular and as we're seeing from Bernard. So when you look at the matchups of these players across the board, it feels like, we're just seeing New York miss the mark a little bit. And
yeah,
especially Mono's play on Ilios was a little bit concerning, and it makes you wonder, like, okay, yeah, it's close, it's 1-1, but we have serious questions going through the rest of this series and perhaps the rest of play here in June leading into that July tournament.
I have questions for what NYXL is going to do, moving forward in the series. Do we see a change up on the roster? Do they still want to run, Nene and say Bjolby as their DPS duo, or will we see Hoxel get put in, perhaps, maybe even Libero or Who Are You, these guys that have kind of been on the sidelines for a while now? We'll have to wait until we get ready to go into map number 3 to figure that out. But I think for now, one of the biggest things that I'm seeing from NYXL is, I don't necessarily want to call it a lack of respect, but I'll just say like over-aggression. That really aggressive push into the side room off of the cart, just straight into the London Spitfire. They didn't really have to do that. I think the more passive pulled back play, trying to allow for Sabiolbi and Nene to get a pick and then go in, might have netted them at least a little bit more time shoot away from Spitfire's time bank. But they just kind of pull the trigger and they're just pushing into Spitfire. And it is costing them dearly, especially in that map right there. So I think going back to, obviously this isn't GOATS, but going back to the more methodical passive playstyle that we came to know and love from NYXL last season might be very good for them here in this series.
Yeah, I just want to see them tighten it up a little bit, be a little bit more passive, but also just, Mono is one of those players, like you were saying, when you think back to GOATS, you think of him as the Rock of NYXL, the Reinhardt who will just put his toe on the point to contest but never go over the line, extremely consistent, very passive, so frustrating to play against. Then you see him, hiding in the corner of his wrecking ball as Babble's just sniping him 7 times in a row, and he's just sitting there like, I hope I can make a play here kind of thing. It just feels so very unlike Mono. Now, sure, when he swapped back to Arisa, he looked a lot more consistent, but it's those little things that like make you feel like, is that the same Mono I've been watching throughout the Overwatch League? Is that the same Mono I watched, play for the World Cup team? It is, but it's like tonight he's a little bit off. Tonight, Hotball's a little bit off. And Sabilby hasn't been as flashy as Glister. And I think they certainly can tighten it up after this half.
All right. Well, we'll see what the coaching staff can get done. Give them a talking to, get their heads back in the game. It was a strong start for them bringing back on Ilios, but they suffer a huge loss there on Rialto. We'll see what happens when we get ready to come back in. I believe Hollywood is going to be our hybrid map, so that'll be coming up after the break. Thank you guys for tuning in for our Crunch Time game break presented by Cheez It Grooves, and we'll see you in a few minutes for the rest of the series.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Cheez It Grooves. Deep flavor, deep crunch. It's a mind crunch. Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Alrighty, and we are back for the second half of this series. London Spitfire able to tie things up 1-1, so we are neck and neck, and that's kind of how it's been, even through the 3 rounds on Ilios. So very close between these two teams the entire time, and it seems like that is not going to be changing anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think so, and I hope it doesn't change because I like close matches like this. I like these matches where one pulse bomb can decide everything. It's really fun to watch, and you know, the big question I think on everybody's mind is, will we have substitutions going into Hollywood? And the answer is yes. The answer is yes.
Just
you don't have a question anymore. Killers, Huxel came in. Okay, Huxel's in for Save Bilby.
There we go. Thank you. Thank you for answering.
Not like stalling it out any longer. I'm just like, we're putting it out there. He's in, so you know, it's kind of like what you were kind of alluding to, wanting to see going into this third map is a little bit of a change up because unfortunately Save Bilby and Nene together haven't been able to get quite that same impact accomplished as we've been seeing from the London side of things.
Yep, we are moving into Hollywood, as was aforementioned during the crunch time. So, see what NYXL wants to piece together with Huxel in the mix here. Nene still could go for that Widowmaker, obviously, and that is often a fairly prevalent pick on this map. But Huxel, where does he want to slot? Does he want to go for the Genji?
I think on attack, I think there's a really good argument for it. On defense, it might just be the Mei, just simply because
could just
strong on A. I mean, it could just be Mei on A, but for defense, on attack, I think you're looking at, I mean, it could be Mei, but it's really unlikely. It's really hard to use attack Mei right now into the range damage that we're seeing from London Spitfire here with the Ashe. Could have been Widowmaker, but again, Ashe is way safer. The cool thing about Ashe on Hollywood A is that, you know, you still have a decent line of sight down this choke, the same one that Widow has, but you also have that dynamite potential, and that can rack up a Bob very quickly. You can do a lot of chip damage there, and it's just, I think, stronger overall. And Huxel does show us the Mei, so it might even be Mei Reaper here. Yeah. See what Nene decides to stick with. Well, after the teleport comes out.
Okay, will be the Ashe, so just going to be relying on the coach gun to try and catch up a little bit here.
Interesting. Well, I mean, the Reaper
match that hit scan for hit scan.
Reaper is really weak, I think, on Hollywood A for the attack, but I mean, Mei Ashe isn't really a strong composition per se either, but they're going to have a lot of extra flank angles with this Ashe, as you can see he's trying to accomplish getting into position now.
Oh, gets the headshots through onto Anamo and Bono, and a dangerously low dynamite into the back, going to be burning down that immortality field, actually going to be expiring the chunks away at them, and Huxel, Nene, now Jonak gone. It'll just have to be the retreat for NYXL, so they don't get much done.
Yeah, I don't know about that, the Ashe pick here. Like, you could see Nene was trying to go down the staircase there, so he could try to get another angle, but JMac was right there, and I mean, he only did 22% worth of damage. If you compare that to Babel, who has defender's advantage, has the perfect angle, is going to constantly do damage no matter what, because he has that positional advantage. It's hard to compare the two, and Huxel himself also didn't get that much charge done, so you're very far away from those ultimates you need to open this point up.
The big boon is going to be that Anamo now has that Amp Matrix online, so they can throw that down, which they do, and have Nene fire through to try to chunk people out. JMac already going to get caught. So that's already really good for New York, who are ticking up on the point. And it's really rough to try and have somebody like Bernard move forward and contest solo. JMac just now going to be respawning rather. Wall comes in to try to knock Krillin off. Aren't able to do so. Bob's going to be coming through. Babel tosses that one out, but he's just gone as quickly as he arrived. Highly now going to be eliminated as well.
Lister again!
Lister, though, managed to find two. Can he do this yet again? Babel going to find Huxel, and suddenly it's a winnable fight for the London Spitfire.
Oh my god.
Bernard will kill himself off, but it doesn't even matter. That is just a formality at this point for London Spitfire. They do not care. They successfully save them off. 88% just about built up here for New York Excelsior. So they don't leave empty-handed, but they certainly had to have thought that that was in the bag.
I just cannot believe that he's just able to consistently make this happen so many times, and he just waits till the last possible second. He's got the pulse bomb. It almost feels like it's over. It's too safe. You know, it's too safe. We can just go ahead and clash into the point and close this one out. But no, Glister comes in at that exact moment. You get a little bit too comfortable. You feel like the fight is over. And then he just cleans up house. Once the tank line has to move back, he just takes Jonak out. And now London Spitfire have got several ultimates here they can use to hold on to this one even longer.
Flux comes through from Bernard. Jonak just now gets the Transcendence online. Immortality Field will save him, so he does not pop the ult yet. Bernard will get traded out. Hiley barely hanging on. Transcendence from Krillin will come through on top of the Blizzard. Try and keep everybody safe and alive in the fight. Jonak's still going to be having his, however. Mister gets rid of an ammo, forces the trance. Krillin and Hiley both going to fall. There's no supports available. Nene will clean up Glister, and it seems like New York this time have done it. Just have to finish off J-Math. He'll get one final kill, but they will be able to push through. So 3 minutes, 18 seconds now on the time bank as the cart gets ready to roll.
Jonak said, not this time. This is that Transcendence. The Pulse Bomb didn't connect, so he didn't necessarily need it. But in that moment, I think everyone in NYXL was like, no. And you could see Nene had that incredible shot to mid-air from his coach gun shot and is able to finish Glister off, so he can't really tag and delay the point capture any further. But a pretty great... Oh, well, he's got the coach gun on. But a pretty great delay, all things considered, for London Spitfire.
Here, Ant Matrix is out. Battle taking some shots into the Immortality Field, sends in the bomb, and ammo already going to be gone, so a significant amount of the healing going to be taken out of the fight now. All of it's going to be gone as Jonak falls as well, so looking like card control going to be coming through for London Spitfire. Nene still commits the bomb to the fight. Dynamite will kill off Krillin, but Babel finds him. Oxtal walling off to try and stay safe, but Glister weaves his way around, but he gets greeted by an icicle to the face. A nice little cheap play there from Hoxtal to get that cleanup kill, but things still looking a little bit rough. Dynamite to the side will connect onto Hotba. Good play there by Battle, making sure that it can't be eaten, but he cannot get the finishing blow there, so no further stagger can come through, which means that NYXL are straight back in on the cart and have it rolling.
Yeah, they're pushing through here. Nene can consistently kind of get back onto that high ground and chip away at the London Spitfire players who kind of have to power back around these choke points. You can see they're just to the right of the county jail right now. Glister looking to shoot his shot here once again. And unfortunately, doesn't find opportunity for the Pulse.
Okay. Jump scare him over there from Glister, but gets a fadeaway stick onto Jonak. Goes over to get that Mega Pack. Cart in the meantime has been rolling through, though. NYXL widely win out on the fight, and they force London Spitfire to be routed away from the cart. So very nicely done by them and still glide through. 3 minutes remaining for the finishing stretch here. See if they can get through with a decent amount of time in the bank.
Nene is finding a lot of success with this Ashe right now. He's pretty consistently threatening Glister, so Glister isn't able to play as comfortably as he was before, harassing and building up those fast pulse bombs. He's constantly under threat of dying to either Jonak or Nene, and if he gets too close to Hoxtal, he's just going to get frozen or at least slowed and taken out. So very uncomfortable right now for the first time I feel with Glister.
Everybody getting halted together, forces the Immortality Field. Card's still going to be rolling up, and this is a really awkward position now for London Spitfire. Have to press into NYXL to try and gain control of the card. The bomb goes through, though, and absolutely deletes Hoxtal on arrival, giving him the double uppercut. Takes him down. Jonak gets the better of Glister this time around as Babel plays on that back flank, but Jonak will just take down both of the DPS members here for the London Spitfire. Mono going to be able to go ahead and fortify his way out of that flux as Krillin will be finished off at the back end. Didn't get an opportunity to use the Transcendence. Card can continue to inch forward here for NYXL. Finishing above a minute would be a very nice boon for them. It's looking like they're going to be able to make that happen. Spitfire going to have to pull out all the stops if they want to hold this card now. Making their way in, Pulse Bomb going to be going through. Immortality Field was there, however, to keep them alive. And now the front line for the London Spitfire rather has been broken down. Only Mono being lost out on. You can see Krillin here with the Transcendence trying to stay safe from Hoxtal, but has to run away from the cart, which is starting to push forward. Can anybody get there? The answer is going to be yes. It's Krillin for a moment. Pile driver now coming through from Bernard, but the focus fire is in on the Wrecking Ball, and he just cannot stay alive. The barrier is going to be gone. J-Max's been flying into the wall, and NYXL will be able to complete Hollywood with 1 minute and 21 seconds remaining.
The only ultimate they really had was Krillin's Transcendence, and I think he used it a little bit too late there and kind of got stuck in being, the sideshow trance where you're just on the point by yourself and trying to delay, and everyone else is trying to join you. Hiley's on the side and can't stick around for too much longer, but it's a pretty solid time bank. I mean, especially considering that New York almost got held on A, and they had some really big struggles finishing that. They were able to finish the map with 81 seconds left. That's quite incredible, and if they have even a decent defense here on A, they're going to feel pretty comfortable with taking a lead in this series again. The question becomes, do we see Hoxtal on Genji here? That was one of the big things we were wondering going into this map. He did end up playing May on the attack, so I mean, it felt pretty likely we were not going to see it on defense. That would have been even crazier, right? So he stays with the May, and London Spitfire doesn't look like they're necessarily going to change things up either. They're just going to run the Ashe on the attack. We'll see if they can find more success than Nene did with Babel here on the Ashe, because remember, Nene really was struggling to find those angles the first 2 pushes, but see if Babel has the same kind of problems, or if he can actually get in there and get an opening pick, because that might be the real determining factor about London Spitfire's time bank heading into B and C if they get there. It's just how fast can this Ashe gain value.
Well, not going to be looking to match the May at all. Nice halt together. Goes in with the accretion. London looking like they're doing some scouting. They're pulling back a bit, taking their time. Get Babel popped up. Blister starts pressuring the point as best as he can. Dynamite's still going to be held here by Babel. Isn't building up too much in the way of ult charge yet.
Yeah, they're not going to try to take the left path. They just want to fight in the center, break shields, and try to knock NYXL out of the middle where they're sitting right now, but they're just not finding the hits they need. They force NYXL to drop down, but still no angles just yet. Good experimental barrier there from Pop out of block while they were halted. It's actually really nicely done.
Ooh, Blister nearly getting picked off there as he goes in for the flank attack. Dynamite lobbed in, doesn't get the hit to instantly detonate it. A nice tag on Blister. Dynamite still detonates and still starts generating percentage here, and you can see Babel is just lagging so far behind compared to Nene right now.
Yeah, it's just the struggle of the attacking Ashe here on Hollywood.
Got it all together, the wall coming through, cutting them off. That's going to be the Amp Matrix toss in as well. They're looking to shut down this push. One ticket to be snatched up for free. The point uncontested, and they actually might be able to turn this one around now. Nene and Jonek both get eliminated. Buster goes to the back, goes back up here onto the high ground. Will move down. Test the point for just a fraction of a second there.
It's got a pulse.
Bomb is up. Looking for an opportunity, pushes into the back, lobs it down. Anamo barely surviving, but can he keep living? Has the immortality field for a little bit longer, pushes out of that one, leaps into the air. Blister is ready to go ahead and scoop the kill. Babel in the meantime has been eliminated. London Spitfire not on the point. Such a scrappy fight happening right now as the Bob joins the fray. Starts shooting away at the barrier here, protected by one of his own. Lob into the back, the ice wall coming up. Keeps them locked in for a little bit longer as the Bob will get finished off.
Okay, Babel's
Still
about to have his own
that,
Bob.
And it's going to be that one tick starting point here for London Spitfire. Flux is ready to go. Jonek nearly has the transcendence, but he's going to be picked off. Blister goes in, manages to find the kill. And that's going to be such a huge opportunity here for Bernard to use that ultimate. Blizzard lobbed in way away from the point, over on the side of the security room. Not really sure what he was going for. Must have been a player for Spitfire on that side of the map, but they rotate away, or it was just a big whiff. I don't know.
That was weird. It felt like a flick. Oh, I think your theory has to be correct, right? Like, he must have thought he saw someone in there. There must have been someone in there that we didn't really quite get an angle to see, that he thought he would solo freeze. But that was a very questionable Blizzard. The key players that he really needed to hit were the ones on the point. If he, even if he hits like a Tracer over there or a flanking hero, the blinks are going to come through. I don't even think that Blister was over there. That was a bit strange. I don't know what else to say about it.
I mean, I know that Hogsoul is now playing on a team with Nene, but that doesn't mean that you just throw out such a crucial ult at you know, a ghost.
On Hollywood in an important match.
Oh dear.
Well, I mean, either way, I mean that's a huge ult that's you know, lost, and time bank is way better for London Spitfire so far. And now they got high ground control.
Yeah, trying to find the supports, and there you go.
I swear he just waits for heads to cross his crosshair, right?
Well, that was a body shot, but yeah, it seemed like that.
Like, how did that? How does he know that? How does he do that? He's like, okay, if I leave my crosshair right here, then eventually Anamo will jump, and I will click him when his head crosses where my crosshair is. Like, that is a pretty unique style of Widow play. I'm very interested to see the rest of this guy's career. I'm suddenly a fan. after these games today and yesterday.
I'm sold. I'm sure a lot of people are as well. Pushing around the back, he's looking for it. Bob's in the bomb. Immortality Field will go ahead and absorb the brunt of that one, but still assassinates an ammo. Jonak couldn't pull the trigger on the Transcendence to try to keep him in the fight. Lister will be burning down, uses the recall, goes back to full HP, still hounding down Nene, will manage to find the kill. Card for now is going to be contested. You can see Hotba, he's drawn away from the point, he's on the hunt. With this Blizzard actually connecting onto some tanks, they managed to get a kill onto Bernard. J-Mac as well will fall, so Hawksall making up for the previous blunder.
It's pretty scrappy here.
YXL will be able to drain down this clock a bit.
Yeah, Babel couldn't get on the high ground, couldn't really, well, he was kind of trapped between a rock and a hard place. They're going to have to reset here. Glister does survive. It would have been really annoying if he had gotten, hit with an accretion and then staggered. He gets away. And London Spitfire are going to have to slow push this back now on the high ground. That time bank they had is kind of washed away here a little bit. It's going to be hard to match New York right now. Glister just looking for the back line. They're all up on the high ground though, so no opportunities. They're going to push the cart and try to get them to drop down.
Cart inching forward, NYXL, they have Mono drop down. Several other members still playing up top. Glister, he remembers what happened before when he basically corner checked Hawksall. He doesn't want it to happen again. Said we'll move over. Spots out Nene, dodges out on the Dynamite. Recalls, but he's still in a rough spot. So yeah, using all of his blinks to get out of there.
Locks out.
Coming through. Transcendence is not available yet. They slam back down, but the Immortality Fields are. Both going to be used. Krillin pops the Transcendence. Jonak just about to have his own online. Now has it ready to go. Pulled back in. Freeze is coming through. Hawksall nearly with another Blizzard. It's going to be absolutely huge this time around, but does get finished off by Krillin. Jonak, however, on the hunt yet again. Dodges the accretion. Pops the Transcendence. Really great reaction time from him. With these kills coming through, this is such bad timing for London Spitfire. Babel in a bad spot. Going to get finished off here, you would expect, as is J-Mac. It's just Glister. He's got the pulse bomb, but I don't think he's going to be able to pull it off this time, Wolf.
I don't think so. I mean, never say never. Oh, he misses the lift here. He's going to have to go around the other side. One chance. Oh, he has to recall.
Oh, did he tag it? Yes, he did. Got close enough, but now needs to go for it again. Forces the OT, gets it around the corner. Pulse bomb going to be thrown in right at the door frame. 10 HP remaining. Then he pushes in, manages to get him with a left click. Rolling through his J-Mac, pile drives up onto the high ground, has to drop back down, forces OT yet again. Extending things, but you can see Spitfire, they have no ultimates to use. The Blizzard comes in, and as they dive onto the cart to try to force this overtime going further and further, they will get finished off. So NYXL going to be able to move forward 2-1 in this series as they close out a victory on Hollywood.
Definitely not the cleanest map we've seen from either of these teams, between, the Ash attacks from both teams really kind of floundering a little bit, to Hawksall's missed Blizzard, to some small mistakes on the side of London Spitfire with their tank line. But it was a close series that London, or rather a close map that London could not close out in the end because they just simply got staggered and killed there on their way to B. Never had that dominant high ground performance they were looking for that New York had on their very attack. So New York now on match point might be able to close this one out, might be able to stop that fifth and final map. But
well,
it's
they're
still
going to be looking for it.
It's still great Overwatch we're watching here.
Oh, it certainly is. London is putting up one hell of a fight, and we'll see if they're going to be able to tie us up yet again, bring us at 2-2, extend us into a fifth map. We'll find out momentarily as we go to a quick break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. Switch today and rank up to America's largest 5G network, T-Mobile.
back, guys. We are now potentially just one map away from the series being closed out. NYXL get a victory on Hollywood, narrowly over the London Spitfire, to bring them to a 2-1 scoreline. So one more will give them the series, but London has been putting up one hell of a fight, fighting tooth and nail throughout this series. So I don't think that they're just going to roll over on this one. They're looking for that Game 5 force.
I mean, the maps have been so close, even though like the last one didn't look as close, but like London Spitfire was almost to B to get to that, extra time they would have had to push towards C. Sure, even if they did finish, New York definitely would have had the better time bank. But remember, New York almost got full held. So, I mean, the scoreline doesn't always tell you how close a map was. And I think that New York has definitely stepped it up, though. Having Huxall in and running the May was definitely a huge boon for them. It gave them a lot more opportunity to have that staying power on some of these points and some of these fights, because Nene and Sabilby before, when they were playing together, were kind of split off and weren't really, I feel like, playing as a duo as much. And now that Huxall's in, I mean, assuming he's going to stay into the next map as well, it feels like there's better synergy between the DPS line, and New York does look clean again. So, I feel like I'm noticing less and less mistakes by Hoppa and by Mono as well. And I think we might be, like, I want a Game 5 again, and these games have been close, but I think New York might just close this one out.
They could. I'm not sure which map we're heading to right now. I believe you have the list.
It's Volskaya.
Okay, heading to Volskaya.
So
I mean, there's still a decent amount of Widowmaker potential here. We've been seeing a lot more of that picked up on Volskaya. So if we see Babel still in for London Spitfire, then I think that is going to be the play, where they want to steer the ship. If not the Widow, then probably the Ashe for him. But we have to wait and kind of get in, see what the rosters are going to look like. Obviously, at times like this in the past, London has just wholesale changed their entire roster out.
Yeah.
But given the success they've been having here, I do not expect to see that whatsoever. We're currently loading into Volskaya Industries, and we'll soon have the confirmation on the roster. Let's go take a quick little glance here. And yeah, London running the same players, and it will be Sabilby back in over Huxall for NYXL.
Yeah, I mean,
Tracer Widow.
You're going to have a hard time on Volskaya. Like, when I was talking about the Huxall staying in, even though the map list was right in front of me, I wasn't thinking about the map specifically. And yeah, Tracer Widow I think is the way to go, because May will just get poked out at range, forced to ice block early. It's just going to have a hard time closing the gap. And this is not a great map for Genji, I feel. I think that Anubis is much stronger for that. On this map, you can't really... you can't kind of like hover around the front of A and chip at people to build a Dragon Blade like you can on Anubis. So I think that... I mean, we're not seeing a ton of Genji in general. I know people are probably saying, like, well, it's a Tracer Widow meta. Why is Wolf talking about Genji? We have seen a decent amount of Genji in Asia this week, but yeah, just going to play it safe, play it meta. Seems like.
Okay, well, we'll see how things unfold. First on the defense here, London Spitfire, and NYXL still changing things up a little bit. So Gilby just going to be porting everybody forward here at the start, and then already primed with the Ashe.
Yeah, it's going to be a Tracer
likely
swap.
It's just going to be a mirror.
Yeah. Actually, they're going to port to the other side here.
They could stick in with it. No, he's going to rotate back. So
I mean, it can still be a mirror.
He can always dash across to there with the Tracer, or just go straight in for a flank angle.
Yep, I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, just now curious to see which way he went. Okay, so he's going to be matching, it seems.
Okay.
Would be embarrassing if Gilby messed that up.
You do have to use all your blinks to do that, which is kind of annoying, but let's get through.
And sometimes a little bit scary. Well, for now, we get the neutral barrier break fight happening across the way. Drop down comes through from Mono, so he's already looking to force London out of the garage and over towards the point. Takes a lot of damage, though. They will start bursting him back up, but he has to peel off the point for a little bit so they don't get any real movement there. Hovering above, Isglister comes in. The Mortality Field going to be taken away, but he can actually break through and get a kill. The answer's going to be no for now. Jonah constantly watching that flank, trying to take him down, and instead it's going to be Nene who actually pops out and gets that headshot.
I feel like Nene is doing such a great job of tracking Glister in the second half of this series. So many times Nene actually just takes his head off.
Falls out, not going to be able to find anything. Sabilby will get cut down. First tick is still not there for NYXL, and Bernard lobbing those shots in. Manages to find Jonak with the primary fire. Riley has been eliminated though, and Bernard in such a rough spot, and it's just going to be an explosion of death right there. 4 members on instant, and NYXL taking this point in all likelihood. Glister is around, nearly has a pulse bomb, but again, it's just only so much that he can do by himself, and he himself is already retreating.
Yeah, that's the cap, and for London Spitfire here, you know, you're just hoping that you're going to get that transverse on the defense now so that you don't get overrun here. There's a tiny window of time where Hapa actually has the Flux first, but he probably doesn't realize that. And you don't really want to put all your eggs in the Flux basket right on the start because Hylie will just Immortality Field it anyways. But if Nene gets a side angle kill here with the Ashe, or is able to help finish someone off with Dynamite, then suddenly you can commit the Flux and you're in a really good spot.
Pushing their way around now. Just waiting, looking for that multi-kill. Pushes in, lobs in, gets the stick, it's on the mono. Still forces the Immortality Field, even though the explosion would not have killed him, but better safe than sorry, says Anamo. That takes just a smattering of damage there, but Glister does not want to stick around. He knows who he's playing against. Hapa taken out before the Bob comes in. This could be costly for them, but already 2 ticks getting ready to roll through for NYXL. They definitely have last ability with that Transcendence from Jonak still being available. Krillin gets rid of the bombs. Savioli going to be gone. Throw in the accretion. It seems like London Spitfire will be able to shove them back. Look at where NYXL is going to be starting from. Yeah. 2 ticks is pretty brutal.
Great start. It's a great start for New York. Yeah, brutal if you're London Spitfire. And they did trade out ultimates pretty well, actually, New York Excelsior, because they have the Flux advantage again here now, and Hapa is going to be the guy who can make that happen once again. If say Bilby can force out the Immortality Field earlier, if Nene can get a kill, it almost just feels like that last tick is free here for New York Excelsior. They're going to have Amp Matrix 2 to match Hylie. Like, New York might have an insane time bank here if they can execute this push perfectly.
They get a nice hit onto JMac. Just fortify away that stun. Barriers set up right in front of each other on this corner. The Amp Matrix coming through from Hylie. Namo still just going to be holding onto his own. Hope not going to be able to find anything, so Hotba won't get any tags with the accretion. Matrix expiring, though, as Babel sits in the back. Bob going to be tossed into the corner, making sure that it's still going to be in the fight, and weaved in behind any potential barriers that would be thrown on that corner by Mono. So it does force the position for the moment of NYXL. But as the Bob is finished off, they go straight back in on the corner, looking to finish things off. Babel already going to be eliminated. The pulse bomb ready to go for Savioli. JMac taking a ton of damage, tries to go in for the stick, will not be able to find the explosive damage, only clipping Krillin, who was already sitting in the Transcendence, completely invulnerable. Zodak matches with his own. Flux now going to be coming through. Do they have the Immortality Field? The answer is no. Zodak gets slammed down into the ground, and Spitfire will have staged off NYXL yet again.
Huge turnarounds here. Even though Glister's Pulse Bomb doesn't pick up a kill, he's able to do a ton of damage, and NYXL kind of start getting chunked down by that. He's just free farming, really, the back line, and doing tons of damage. New York Excelsior now coming onto this next push with the least amount of ultimates they've had since they took A. And the pendulum has definitely swung now into London Spitfire's court. Well, I don't know if that's how that analogy exactly works, but it's been a long night. London Spitfire here, they're just going to break this shield down, and New York Excelsior just kind of have to slowly approach this. They can drop the supercharger, but it might be a bit early for that heavy commitment. They only got 90 seconds left, so you got to make the tough decisions now on this dwindling time bank.
Now down to a minute and 25 supercharger thrown in from Mono. Powering his team where possible, but Krillin manages to get rid of it as the barrier is removed. Barrier back up. JMac just going to be taking that dynamite. Has to just kind of eat the damage. Krillin tries to keep him alive. Savioli into the back, building up off of JMac. Nearly has that pulse bomb ready to go. Forced to recall, comes back in, finishes the bomb, tries to get over, gets the health pack. Dynamite going to be taken away, and he does not have the recall. Will be finished off. Babel pushing forward, manages to get that unscoped left click to go ahead and get rid of the enemy tracer. Glister now on the hunt, looking for Jonak, gets the lob in. Cannot get it. No.
Yeah, there's not on the point, man. I mean, this is not as crazy of a C9 as we saw last night, but that's That's rough.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it was a losing fight. I actually wouldn't even go as far as say that's probably not really even a C9.
I wouldn't. It's not a full C9.
It's not really a C9 actually, but I think they could have dwindled that time bank down a little bit more. Like they lose B no matter what, but I think we're being really nitpicky either way. For London Spitfire, I mean, this is a time bank you can match, but you really need to have a stellar A attack. We'll see what they want to run here. I think we're just going to see more Tracer Ash. I don't think they're going to mess around with the teleport shenanigans that we saw from New York Excelsior with the Symmetra. Which, you know, you see every now and then. If you're a team that runs it every time, then it becomes predictable, so you just run it every now and then. Something that's, you know, since the teleporter changes to Symmetra, things like that are kind of possible now. One of the coolest changes I think we've had in Overwatch. It's one of those changes that, like, I think everybody universally agrees is pretty awesome and no one's really mad about it. When you have a big change like that in a game like Overwatch, usually someone's like, there's usually a vocal minority rather of people who are upset about it, but I feel like the teleport change is one of those ones where everyone's like, no, that's pretty cool, that's good for the game, I like that.
I'd like to see the contrarians against the changes of the original coin flip.
Yeah.
So you know somebody defended that.
I saw somebody talking
most
about
people
that on
watching
Twitter
probably actually probably don't even know about the coin flip.
We're not talking about the Nate Nasser coin flip either.
No, not that one.
We're going further back.
Rough history of coin flips in Overwatch, as it turns out. But here we go. Spitfire going to be on the attack. Looking for the halt play with the accretion, and that's going to lead to Nene getting killed. Krillin with a very nice snipe.
I mean, this is a huge opportunity for them to just run away with A. That's a crazy pick.
That it is. Offense upstate will be considerably as well. Forces the recall. Recall's back in behind him. Tracer games happening here.
Babel has free
trying
reign
to capitalize
now.
on top.
Yeah, I think New York Excelsior gets one more chance at this, but it's going to be really tough.
Well, they give up one tick. Gilby knocked out again. Barrier goes forward from Bernard. Now Mono going to be eliminated. Glister comes up huge yet again. Gilby still wreaking havoc where possible, but he's just not getting enough damage in to really threaten anybody or to enable for a scoop kill to come in. Harassing as best as possible. Pulse Bomb going to be lobbed in. Barrier will completely block off that damage as well as the accretion, and Krillin gets the headshot onto Jonak, getting him a taste of his own medicine. The Gilby consistently tries to get his way into this garage, but he just hasn't been able to assassinate anyone.
He's surviving for an insanely long amount of time, but that's going to end now. And that's the cap. 5.5 minutes is a massive time bank here. You know, they've essentially got just under 5 minutes to match this time bank. And I feel like, you know, we've got two insane Zenyatta players in this game, but Krillin has often been overshadowed. And I feel like we haven't given him full credit for all the headshots he's hitting. He's killing, you know, hitscan heroes. He's killing Nene on Widow. He's killing Nene on Ashe so many times that, I mean, he literally just gave them a huge time bank from that pick alone. The team just had to follow up, and they did. I mean, look, they're about to have 6 ultimates on this point. They're going to open with Bob.
Ulted off the high ground, Immortality Field taken away rather quickly. Bob's still just going to be chipping where possible, but doesn't have much life left in him. Actually will expire. I think it's the first time in a long time that I've seen a Bob just go away on his own volition. Those are going to be taken out after Mono falls, so 1-for-1 exchange here. Punish coming in onto Glister. See the Flux coming out from Hadva. Manages to get a pick off onto Krillin, but the Transcendence already expired, so Hadva starts dragging things back into their favor. Bernard finds Jonak, but the damage is done. London Spitfire have to peel back, but look at the time bank that they still have and how far they have made it. They got 66.9% on point B.
Yeah,
so we'll be starting from that second tick. I mean, that's pretty nice for them.
Yeah, certainly, as they say. And it's only 0.3% off of exactly being just that second tick. They just barely went over it. And New York Excelsior, the big saving grace for them, I feel like, is that they didn't have Transit. They didn't use that, because now the next push has Bernard looking to find some big forbidding flux damage. And otherwise, you know, we're looking at a pretty even ult economy here. You're just always worried right now if you're New York Excelsior, because if one wrong move means that they just have a way better time bank than you. So they're playing passive. They're playing a little bit far back, not showing themselves to Babel. Or Glister, who currently holds a Pulse Bomb. Could force out an Immortality Field. Things could really go disastrously after that.
Babel looking for uptake. NA going to be pulling back Nokos. Re-peeks the same spot here at the base of the staircase. SABLB comes around the side, looks for Glister, takes him dangerously low, forces that recall, and Bernard is going to be collateral damage. So Spitfire again going to have to reset, the time dwindling away. Still healthy for them, just under 3 minutes now, but they want as much of a time bank as they could possibly get over NYXL. As long as they can finish the map, they're guaranteed a minute. But you want a lot more there.
Yeah, you definitely do. New York still get to keep that trance, and Bernard is just waiting for Glister to hit that pulse that forces the amplification matrix. They can do it the other way around, but much harder to do that.
A ton of damage here. JMac just having a soak at all. The barrier's just not lasting very long, and he's going to get picked off. SABLB finds that kill. Hotbutt going to be using the flux as well. Slapping him back down to the ground, and that is just going to be one fight here for NYXL off the back of that single ultimate.
I don't mind, actually, Hotbutt using the flux there. I think a lot of people might look at that and think, well, that's unnecessary, and they're not completely wrong about that, but you had a perfect flux, so that was a moment where you could just crush. Yeah, you could crush your London Spitfire, like, all at once there and guarantee it's over, and you've got the rest of your ultimates, as you were saying, so you might as well just go ahead and throw that one down. Like, I don't even dislike that. I like that guaranteed team fight win where you don't have to waste any more ultimates if something goes wrong. And, you know, you don't give Glister the chance to have that pop-off moment. So I like that.
Barrier health rather low there, so JMac, or Mono rather, pushing away. Jonak, however, does get picked off. Very nicely done by Glister. He's been pretty consistently out-dueling Jonak throughout this series. Now he's looking for his next target. Bomb is out. Babel will go ahead and finish that off.
He wants the mortality field.
Nearly has his own. Mortality field will come through. Barrier blocking off. Elongating the life of that for a while. Pulse bomb to be slapped down, but Aqua snatches it up with kinetic grasps. SABLB manages to find two. Bernard and Hiley both going to get taken down. JMac cannot survive, and suddenly this is catastrophic for the London Spitfire.
Crazy plays from SABLB, and Bernard's his whole game plan is to get that flux off after they forced out the immortality field. Crazy plays from Glister get us to that moment, and then he's just killed by SABLB coming in, grabbing that double kill, and everything falls apart. Now they've got the inferior time bank, and that's best case scenario. But this might just end here. I mean, they lost so many crucial tools. They don't have a pulse bomb, which is how they're opening a lot of these fights right now. The Gravitic Flux just not able to go off. So New York sitting pretty here. They're ultless, but they have the tools to shut this down completely because they have that defender's advantage.
Supercharger Transcendence Bob, that's what they have right now. The London Spitfire to try to get the job done. Bob's going to open things up. The Supercharger coming through as well. He'll be stopped right in front of this barrier. Chipping away at Mono as best as possible. Now we'll start soaking up a lot of the damage. As NYXL tries to get rid of it. The Dynamite will be able to do so with the help of SABLB. Nana going to get picked off by Bernard. Looking for a little bit more. Immortality Field's going to be burned here for the London Spitfire. Hotbutt finished off, and London might actually be able to make it happen. It seems like they will. Just have to get rid of a few final members here. They do get the finish in overtime, so a minute for them, a minute 46 for NYXL. This could still go either way.
Yeah, critically, you know, with the
sub 1 minute. Also go to a draw.
Yeah, it could go to a draw, but it's not draw best case scenario for London Spitfire because New York's time bank was, you know, a little bit weaker at the beginning. So they knew that going into this, but still good to have that feeling of like, okay, we could actually bring this to a 5th map where we can close this series out, not just that 5th map that could be best case 6th map for us. We still might go there, but it just depends on how much London Spitfire is able to accomplish on this attack. When you only have 1 minute, you know, a lot of the time teams will play different compositions than what's meta because you just don't have time to build ults. You don't have time to play the ult economy. But I think in this meta, you know, especially with how they're playing around Glister's pulse bombs and trying to set up for these flanking kills, you just keep it the same. You know, there's not much else you could do here. You can't swap to a Goat's S composition. I guess you could try to run something like a Mei, but again, this is a really bad map for Mei on attack and arguably on defense just because of the long sight lines. Now she's just going to get outranged. So, okay, Widow to start. I think he's going to swap, but he's going to look for a pick at
this could. I don't think you have enough time to swap. I think he's kind of got to be all in with this one, unless he just goes for the initial pop-up and then straight back in. But you have to burn the grapple either way, so a lot of your mobility is gone. So, yeah, I think he's got to be in with it.
Yeah, you're probably right. The more I think about it. Well, he gets a
finds a
headshot.
dink on the mono. Here comes the jump up over the top. Oh, if he could have gotten Jonik, would have been absolutely huge. Just softens him up, but no one's in position to go ahead and scoop that kill. Another dink on Mono, forcing him back behind that corner. To get damage coming through from Babel, but needs the kills, and there's going to be the first one. Nene taken out of the fight. Sees the shots coming through from Sebiolbi. He evades it. Moves up onto that high ground. 20 seconds remaining now. London Spitfire starting to break through. Glister makes his way over to the point, trying to reposition NYXL. They're not moving over, though.
If they get even one tick, they're going to feel good about this, I think. And I think NYXL just can't stop that, so at least
they realize it's happening now. Yep. So this is not going to be a draw situation here for London. Jonak under fire. Glister tries to get the assassination yet again, but Bernard has the alley-oop. They take him down. Immortality Field keeps highly alive for a little bit longer as they push into the garage, and Nene will be eliminated. Immortality Field now gone from Anamo. GMAC will be finished off. Sepiolbi managing to find the kill. Can he have the pop-off? He's nearly got the pulse bomb, but so nearly does Glister. Falls low, Orb of Harmony slowly trying to pick him back up. Will recall here, straight in onto the point. Pulse bomb goes down to the garage. In the cubby, does not find it. Sepiolbi finishes him off. Neville finds a sight, but no one can make it to the point. 60% is what NYXL has to beat if they want to close out the series right now. Otherwise, London Spitfire can take us to that 5th and final map.
The Bobble comes in, man, and he commits to the Widow. He gets several headshots. No kills, unfortunately, at the beginning, but then starts to get them. Then starts to find his way on the point. Gets several after the map is over as well. There you can see in the kill feed. Or after their attack is over, I should say. The map is still ongoing. But risky play pays off. But still, 146 for 60% is a tough ask right now for London Spitfire, especially in a meta where there's so much volatility with how an Ashe or a Widow could just take someone's head off flank angle, and then you just come in, you kill their Orisa, and the Orisa v Orisa, everyone's shooting at shields, but eventually you have more firepower, you kill the Orisa, and literally everything can end in just one moment like that. And that's scary, but it's doable, it's winnable. You feel pretty good about this, I think, if you're London Spitfire. Sure, you wanted to run away with that second part of the team fight. You wanted to run to B and have your shot at that, but they don't get that. The defense is going to have to be solid. They don't change anything up. They're not going to try to do anything crazy like run some sort of wonky May defense or any Torbjorn here. Just going to be running the meta. Babel back on the Ashe.
Attackers incoming.
We'll see if he can deliver similar damage early on that we just saw from him on the
Teleport
Widowmaker,
again.
this time with the Ashe. Yeah, TP around the side,
But there, no!
Scouted. Dynamite a little bit early, only managed to find one. You can see Hoppa jumping back across, then back in with the rest of the team as they press forward. Could have been massive ult charge, and Babel had just waited a little bit longer with that Dynamite.
So I was talking about earlier, you don't want to do it every time, you only do it every now and then. They call it out, don't get the kills.
Such a close quarters fight here. As the Dynamite keeps flying, Babel jumping over to the side. Ult together, looking for the stun. The Dynamite going to be landing there, but the barrier's blocking out everything. Immortality Field taken out. Ult pulls them out of the room. Immortality Field keeps him alive, but Sepiolbi manages to find Highly. Taking him down. Now J-Mac going to fall. It seems like this might not have worked out at all for the London Spitfire. They need to start popping off. They need to do it right now, but they're running out of members that have that potential, and I think that is going to be it. Glister, the last one alive, so far away from a pulse bomb. The tick coming through, everybody playing forward on the point. Glister does what he can, but it is just not going to be enough. The ball rolls through, J-Mac slamming back down now, but he is dead on arrival. 33 seconds remaining as they cap it, and NYXL are able to take the series. So hard fought there by the London Spitfire. The 3-1 scoreline does not tell the story that transpired, but man, what a series, what a performance from London to make it that close.
London has really, really stepped it up. The fact that they were able to play a close series against old rivals NYXL with this new rookie roster is, I mean, it says it already speaks volumes of how far they've come from the beginning of the season. And I think that when you look at York Excelsior's play here too, there were definitely some rocky moments, but they proved to be more consistent overall. They were willing to take a risk with Hawksall and Hollywood. They brought him in. They're showing the depth of their roster. They're showing their experience. And, it was the series we wanted, I feel like. Yeah, if you're a London fan, you're still disappointed you didn't win it, but I don't think you could be that disappointed, right? I think you're going to feel like, we're getting there. We certainly are.
Yeah, I mean, massive improvements week over week here for London Spitfire. If they went from that victory over Chengdu yesterday and came in here and just got whopped by NYXL, it would be a lot of lost faith, anticipation and expectations just kind of getting shattered for the London Spitfire fans, but still being able to deliver and play on the level that they did today. I think that the players and the fans of the London Spitfire can continue to hold their heads high and say, you know what, there is still so much potential for this squad, and there's still so much left in the season for them to reach the apex of that potential. But NYXL, they managed to take it away from them, and that's that veteran play coming through. Solid performances from, say, Bjolby bouncing back after not being a little hit or miss early on in the series. He comes in here, he has some incredible clutch moments like we saw from Glister throughout, and really helps get them across that finish line, closing things out on Volskaya. Fantastically done by both of these teams. And it's another one of those series where obviously we're not really biased here, but I'm just happy that the Overwatch that was played was at such a high level and it was so entertaining, because I couldn't give a damn who wins it. I was just happy to be entertained and to get excited for this set. Unfortunately, I can't quite go as loud as I would like to with my excitement from time to time, because wife's asleep, neighbors upstairs, downstairs, etc. But
yeah,
really
it's Sunday
great
night here in Korea. It's not Saturday night over here, so
yeah, I've got a family
Sunday morning
downstairs
as it
with
is.
Kids.
It's like Sunday morning for
school.
Most of you guys over there, right? But do need to mention that our player match is hot. Our player match presented by Xfinity. We kind of glossed over that, but he did end up winning that. Not my first choice, I think, for New York today, but he did not play poorly. He had his moments. He had some good graffiti fluxes.
Double kill.
Hapaz has a little bit hot and cold recently. He's been one of my favorite players that was underrated, I'd say, in the Overwatch League for a really, really long time. Like, even this time back in Philly, I feel like no one really gave him credit. Right hero pool. But yeah, he's on NYXL now. He's looking really good at his highs. He does have some low lows too, but it was decently consistent tonight, I'd say.
Yeah, and with the moments where he was impactful, he was super impactful. So a very good pickup for the NYXL and a good win for Hangzhou, getting our player of the match. So kudos to him and the rest of the team for playing this late into the evening. I mean, my phone's over there, so I can't actually see what time it is.
It is 11:10 p.m.
There we go, 11:10 p.m. After the match is starting, starting at 5 p.m. So these guys were waiting in the wings for a while to get into the server to play this match, but everybody stayed, pretty hyper-focused throughout that despite the late hour. It just shows the drive that these players had to try and get the victory over each other there. But that's it for APAC for the week. We had some incredible matches, Wolf, across these last 2 days. I think literally every match from today, very much worth watching. If you guys still didn't see the Hangzhou series from yesterday, you still want to go check out that VOD now that this match is over. But just fantastic Overwatch this weekend so far.
I mean, Asia is always going to have great Overwatch. It had at the beginning, it is now, and I think this region is being discovered by a lot of new Overwatch League fans right now across YouTube. So go back and watch some VODs, and we're going to see you guys next weekend here in Asia as well. But tell your friends, it's worth staying up most of the time. We're not getting 3 Overwatch anymore, not over here in Asia.
Yeah, it's been series every single time, at least one map being taken, if not going all the way to 5. Thought we were going to have, triple game 5s here today. Didn't happen, but I still cannot be disappointed. It was just stellar matches all the way through. But thank you guys so much for joining us. Once again, a shout out to those of you who are staying up late, as well as our production crew who continue to have these very late APAC nights for them back in America. You guys go get some rest. Everybody else, get some rest. Get ready for NA matches, because those are going to be coming up in a couple hours, 5 hours from now, I do believe. But we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in.